Yo, what's up, Legacy Shinobi Squad? Today, we're diving into an absolutely insane what if. What if Naruto became the Demon Lord successor and conquered the elemental nations? In this dark and godlike tale, Naruto's life takes a twisted turn when he's chosen as the successor to the Demon Lord. Betrayed by those he once trusted and cast aside by Konoha, Naruto embraces his new destiny, unlocking powers that shake the very foundation of the world. With a dark, commanding presence and overwhelming strength, he sets out to conquer the elemental nations, toppling corrupt leaders and rewriting the ninja system. Along the way, he builds a terrifying yet loyal army and proves that even in darkness, he's the master of his fate. If you're ready for a story filled with epic battles, darker character arcs, and Naruto rising to unmatched power, then hit that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more. All right, let's step into the shadows and begin this legendary tale. Naruto had just snuck out of the hospital free from the glaring doctors and nurses, who saw him as they walked by hoping he died in a ditch somewhere when he was let out. The mission to retrieve Sasuke had been a failure in every sense of the word, with the Uchiha in the grasp of the snake Sannin Orochimaru. The fact that Naruto had technically been the one to make the mission a failure did not help his already low standing in this hellhole village he called his home. Sakura was not too thrilled, either blaming him for Sasuke, leaving telling him had he not tried to rival the Uchiha in power that the spoiled child would still be in Konoha to give her a date. What she needed was a fat lip to match with her huge forehead. Naruto was so tired of their constant hatred of him, their glares, their ever-desired dream of wanting him dead for things he didn't even do. Naruto needed to get out of Konoha before he suffocated from the village's arrogance. He needed to leave. Period. Not like anyone will miss me. First chance they get, they'll celebrate and break the old man's law, since the team council will overrule it just like they try to all the other times. Thought Naruto, having overheard a few council members talk about overruling another execution for breaking the Sandaime Hokage's law. With that thought in mind, Naruto made a shadow clone to head home, hoping that all he had of value wasn't destroyed this time, knowing that what his plans required he leave the leaf. While the Naruto clone went to his apartment, the real Naruto went to the old hag's office to say his goodbye, or at least leave a letter should she be in one of those meetings. Hokage Tower at the moment. "What do you mean you're ordering Naruto's execution?" said Tsunade, who was now completely furious with the council before her, as they were nothing but crusty old men and women from the Dark Ages, thinking they were all right due to their experience with running things in Konoha. Just like you said, Hokage-sama. The demon boy lost to Uchiha Sasuke because he held back, meaning he let the last Uchiha leave, meaning that Uzumaki is a traitor as well, and therefore must be killed. The only reason he didn't escape was because Kakashi arrived on the scene moments after the battle ended, said Danzo, knowing that the law was very clear on traitors and the Kyuubi vessel was in such range of those laws. I see. And what happens if Uchiha Sasuke is captured and brought back to Konoha? Will he be executed too? Or do you like to show favoritism to a spoiled bloodline user who deserts their villages for power? Said Tsunade, wondering how they could make that swing in their favor. We believe that due to the curse seal on Sasuke that he went temporarily insane out of the sheer jealousy of the Kyuubi vessel. Should the Uchiha be captured, the boy will be evaluated by our top seal and psychological experts before going down that road. We are confident that the boy will come around to our side if, and when he returns to Konoha, will be given a chance to redeem himself, said Koharu, smiling a fake smile at the Hokage, hating the woman before her with the feelings mutual. You mean your side? You would embrace a traitor, but not the village's hero, who from my understanding was treated worse the scraps of food you throw your pets. You are even lucky that I am the Hokage right now, because of Naruto, since he was the one that got me to come back here in the first place. Had it not been for him, you would have been powerless against an invasion from IWA or Kyumo if they ever decided to become bold, said Tsunade, knowing those two powers were exactly Konoha friendly right now. Mind your tongue, Tsunade, as you could be removed if we see fit. We know all about war, or have you forgotten? Said Hamura, scowling at the woman, who smashed her fist on the table, cracking it nearly in half. Perhaps you need to be reminded of who I am, Hamura-san. If you have some memory loss, maybe you would like to fight me in a spar, so we can resharpen your skills along with your mind, said Tsunade, grinning at the now cowering man, who knew he stood no chance in hell against the woman before him. Enough! The decision is final between us, meaning we overrule any type of intervention you wish to create here, Hokage-sama. The boy will execute it 3 days from now after he is picked up by our NBU unit we sent to retrieve him, said Danzo, knowing that the team he had sent was ordered to retrieve and, if necessary, subdue the demon child. Unknown to them, a certain clone of a certain person was overhearing this via ventilation system above the meeting room before silently going poof. Naruto had made the clone right after going into the office with the help of Shizen after telling the nice woman he wanted to speak to her in private, but secretly as well. He had figured since Tsunade was having a meeting with the council, his name would come up, and he needed to know what was going on. The end result with the said clone going poof sent all of the learned information back to the original Naruto, who was now in Tsunade's office, or precisely her Hokage chair. He was currently busy writing his goodbye letter, only to stop as all the information from the clone came pouring into his head and became angry with the assholes in charge. So that's how it's going to play out, huh? Well, let's see them catch me when they don't even know where I am or follow me once I get over the border, thought Naruto before writing some final choice words into his note for the council to hear if read out loud, and left out the window to the rendezvous point where his other clone was. Are you sure you want to leave knowing who you'll leave behind? Not everyone hates your guts, kid. Some may actually sympathize with you, said the QB as his shadowy face appeared in Naruto eyesight as the vessel headed for the forest area. Even if they could, it doesn't matter now. I'll be dead if they catch me, and then the truth will be told with a spin on it making, and everyone hate me regardless of all the good I did for them in the past. Is that how you want to be remembered, Fox? Having your vessel go back to face his executioners and simply die a dishonorable death, taking you along for the ride into hell? I didn't think that was your style, since you were a demon lord, thought Naruto, slipping past the guards, who were currently not doing their duties on account of them being drunk. Point well taken, kid. However, do you realize that if you do this, then Akatsuki will come after you, and you will no longer be under the protection of the Leaf or the Super Pervert, said QB, frowning at his vessel, as if to make the boy realize that with this action came harsh consequences. Protection? Konoha protect me? Ah, that's a laugh, Fox. You know as well as I do the only protection I ever got in Konoha was from the old man, and now he's gone. As for Ero Sennin, he only cares about his research and would trade me for a second in terms of training me for a chance to peep in a bathhouse. You look me in the eyes and say otherwise, thought Naruto, scowling himself at the fox before finally meeting up with his clone and getting what his things place in a sealing scroll he acquired from the shinobi library before leaving a paint bomb for Mrs. Haruno. The shallow pink-haired woman had on more than one occasion had tried to discreetly kill him, having been a former shinobi herself, only to be foiled each time by Naruto's fox-like sense of danger. To add insult to her injury, he had flipped her off several times when at a safe distance after her attempts to make her remember he wasn't dying. At least not by her hands anyway. Good times when that part happened. Another point in your favor, kid. I'm impressed, which is not always the case with me, since we demons aren't impressed, much due to our high expectations of things lower on the food chain. However, you are a special case, and as such I'm going to help you since you are my vessel, as I refuse to have such a weakling for a prison, said QB, having seen the boy fight using his power and his own, knowing that the reason the damn Uchiha won was because Naruto showed mercy in not killing the power-hungry fool. And here I thought you liked me because of my charming good looks, thought Naruto, letting out a small laugh, while the QB itself surprisingly had laughed too at the joke, but whether or not it was meant to insult Naruto or to compliment him, the boy was not sure. We must reach the border soon before they discover that you have made an unofficial departure from Konoha, which I estimate will be any moment now. Even if it is some distance to the hospital from the Hokage Tower for a shinobi of high level it take, but a mere minutes if not moments, said QB, and sure enough special ninja alarm bells went off coming from Konoha indicating a shinobi had abandoned the village. Have I ever told you how I hate it when people around me are right about something at the moment I don't want them to be Fox? Said Naruto, now sensing the growing chakra signatures behind him all ANBU level and closing fast. On more than one occasion, kid, but that is a topic meant for another discussion at a later time. Right now you have to fight these hairless apes off before more come to take you back to your execution, said QB, knowing that the shinobi team behind them would most likely try to kill his vessel in the forest, then return him for a proper and more public execution where some brave shinobi or Hokage, may possibly get a decent enough backbone to defend his vessel on their behalf. Fat chance in hell. Konoha sometime earlier. Hyuga Hinata was blushing as she held the flowers in her hands, wondering how Naruto would react when he saw them, if he wasn't asleep while healing his bandaged up body. She had fainted the last time she saw him at the hospital, because he was wrapped almost entirely in bandages after his body had been practically destroyed in his fight with Sasuke, though she imagined Sasuke was not feeling good either. It hurt her to see the boy that she had come to admire look so broken like that, and Hinata had felt her mind shut down upon the sight. Now as she headed towards the hospital, Hinata could only hope that Naruto was feeling better and would come to appreciate these flowers as a token of her low friendship. Hinata made her way to his room after eventually finding it, wondering slightly as to why the staff around her seemed hateful towards Naruto when she asked for his room. She had hoped that everything was all right when she approached the door, only to find the door was now slightly open. Peeking inside, Hinata held back a gasp as she saw several ANBU looking around the room, finding out like her that one Uzumaki Naruto was not in his room. Damn that kid. Where is he? We have to find him so we can keep him contained until his execution, said an ANBU with a tiger mask on, punching the wall right next to him out of frustration. Execution? Naruto-kun is going to be executed? Oh no, thought Hinata in horror, as she had heard about executions from a branch house Hyuga clan member and how they were horrible sights to behold, showing man's cruelty at showing death in such a manner. What are you so upset about? In his condition, that monster couldn't have gotten far, and when we catch him, we get to have a little fun with the damn demon, said an ANBU with a falcon mask, remembering the specific of their orders from Danzo. Monster? Demon? Naruto-kun isn't a demon. How can someone as sweet and caring as him be a demon? Thought Hinata, her eyes nearly swelling up in sadness at her crush was having his name being driven through the mud like that. We better report our findings to the council and then later to the Hokage. They've been waiting for an excuse to go after the boy, and this is our chance to get him ourselves, said the third ANBU member, who was their captain, jumping out the window with the other two right behind him. I have to tell Hokage-sama, thought Hinata, dropping her flowers and rushing off to tell the woman in charge what she heard, hoping that the female Hokage could save her crush from the apparent death warrant signed on his head. By the time Hinata got to the Hokage tower, the alarm had been sounded, and before she could get to the door, she saw a team of no less than 8 ANBU head out dressed in full combat gear. Fearing even more for Naruto's life, Hinata ran as fast as her legs could take her and rushed into the Hokage's office, not hearing Shizen's protest or the 2 ANBU guards behind her trying to stop her. Hinata, why are you in my office? Said Tsunade, not really in a good mood right now, and the scowl on her face proved it, having quickly hiding the letter Naruto left behind. WRUL letting them Jigo to K-kill Naruto-kun? Said Hinata as her eyes were now releasing her tears as she ran to the older woman's desk. How did you find out about that? Who told you? Said Tsunade in an authority-giving voice, only to look worried, knowing she would have to explain herself to the little girl, who now probably thought had a hand in this little plot to kill the blonde vessel. She hates him too. She's just like all the others that glare at him, thought Hinata before rushing to the door, only for Tsunade to stop her so she could explain what happened. Tsunade didn't get a chance to, as she felt a blast of intense demonic churka that could have come from only one source in all of Fire Country. Uzumaki Naruto. A moment earlier with Naruto. Anything to say before we kill you, demon filth? Said the ANBU captain wearing a cat mask as he and his team surrounded the boy, all holding deadly-looking weapons. Yeah, I got something to say, so shut up and listen, because it will be the last thing you ever hear. First, I think you are all a bunch of assholes for taking this job to kill me, or whatever it is you were told to do by those teams on the council. Second, even if I do die at your hands, one day, so will all of you, and you will all go to hell. And when that day happens, QB will be waiting for you to make you his own personal playthings. Third, should I survive this, I want you all to remember this should I leave any of you remotely alive to count to 10. When I become strong enough, I will return to the Leaf to finish what QB started by destroying every single arrogant villager and shinobi in Konoha, said Naruto, not going to hold back anymore, and let out all the chakra his body could generate, scaring the ANBU since the level nearly rivaled Ataki Kakashi's own. Is this the QB's doing? Thought the ANBU team, as they saw the dome of thick blue chakra laced with the demonic red of QB cover Naruto before blasting out at them, disrupting their chakra networks. Before any of them could act, Naruto was upon them, punching and kicking them in the various ways of taijutsu that he picked up as well as learned given what little training he had. With no one to train him growing up, the taijutsu Naruto used was nothing short of a very unorthodox way of brawling, though the power behind each of the blows was still quite powerful. Fire style, Fire Blast Jutsu, said an ANBU shinobi, who was able to get his chakra coil system under control long enough to go through several hand signs before unleashing a power fire jutsu at Naruto. The fire attack hit dead on surrounding Naruto in the hot fiery blast, giving time for the other shinobi to recover, though some of them doubted that boy would even survive. How wrong they were. The fire around Naruto was soon covered in demonic red churka and seemed to reform like a giant fox hovering almost protectively over the boy. It was almost more than the ANBU could take as they saw Naruto transforming as well, with his eyes now red with slits. His hands resembled claws, and his teeth were sharper with fangs along the canine teeth. You puny mortals think you can simply just go and kill me through my vessel, don't you? Fools! I am a demon of legend with a power that makes even Kami himself tremble in fear. I have no intention of dying just yet, and when I do, I will have a worthy successor to my throne long before that day happens. It's almost a pity that none of you will be there when that day happens, said the fire-like form of Kyuubi, before using all 9 of its fire-like tails, creating a massive explosion of fire outside its form. Unfortunately for Naruto, the strain of maintaining the Kyuubi's temporary form in his still recovering condition made his form collapse, and all he saw was darkness. Damn it! I can only hold this form for a little longer before it gives out, and no doubt more of those damn Konoha shinobi are on their way after this. Fortunately, all I need is a moment, and there is enough chakra to get us out of here, said Kyuubi using his fire-like teeth, and picked up the boy, who still had some residual demonic chakra on him to prevent himself from being burned before heading towards the border, knowing a select few could pursue once they crossed. Hokage Tower. Tsunade-sama. Do you think it could be the Q? Said Shizen, rushing to the window, seeing a large explosion in the distance, making her stop her current sentence right before Tsunade could. Shizen, go get Jiraiya and tell him to go retrieve Naruto now. Tell him to do what he has to do, said Tsunade, knowing that if it came down to it, Jiraiya may have to be the one who kills Naruto, and she knew that when it did happen, it would haunt the super pervert and herself until the day they died. She didn't notice Hinata had slipped out of her grasp and ran out of her office. Naruto, I am so sorry, thought Tsunade, letting tears finally fall from her face with her hands clenched in a fist, knowing that no matter what she did, she couldn't seem to save the one she cared about. It seemed the heavens, too, were crying since it was now raining once more outside. Flashback. Those bastards, thought Tsunade, entered her office filled with so much anger right now that she wanted to smash the first person she saw, regardless of who they were. Going over to her desk, she saw a note written in Naruto handwriting and picked it up, feeling a sinking feeling in her heart, since no one should have been in her office. Dear old hag and council teams, if you're reading this, then it's clear that I'm not here right now, and I'm out of the village away from you Uchiha-loving faces. All my life, I've had to put up with your shit and the deliberate attempts to weaken me out of your arrogant wisdom, thinking I would destroy Konoha. First off, I never had any intentions of attacking Konoha or its people unless it was in self-defense and protecting my right to exist. From now on, I answer to no one in Konoha. My life, my will, and my very being is my own to do with as I see fit. I will not let my life be dictated by some old fossils who are afraid of losing their position and fading gracefully into the history books. You have all let your arrogance blind you to the belief the Uchiha clan will be revived by a guy who hasn't even looked at a girl, much less taken interest in one. You would have a better chance of Itachi team coming back doing the job himself. But just to piss you and Sasuke team off, I'll remove Itachi from your hands soon enough, since he's after me. If I decide to come back to Konoha, it won't be to protect its people, but rather to destroy them, since they have done nothing to deserve any form of mercy from me. So to you all listening, I suggest you keep an eye open at night, because when I return, the leaf will run red with blood, and its people will burn in hell. Uzumaki Naruto, aka your soon-to-be worst nightmare. P.S. For all you team council members reading this, I know you ordered my execution, so thank you for giving me the reason to come back to kill everyone. Have a nice day. Oh no. Oh Cammy, please no. said Tsunade, falling back in her chair as tears fell from her eyes in sorrow. In flashback, now as the Hokage of Konoha, she was sending her last remaining friend when she was a part of the legendary Three to kill her little brother. I deserve to go to hell, said Tsunade, putting her head on the table, covering it with her hair and tears. Sometime later, Naruto found himself lying face up in a dark cave with a roaring fire next to him, no doubt created by Kyuubi right before its form died away and spirit went back into his seal. He heard the rain outside the cave entrance, meaning that the trail that was left behind would be lost in the weather. Thank Kami for small favors, even if he does owes me a couple hundred big fat ones, thought Naruto, sitting up, and cracked his neck and other joints in his body aching all over. Now that you are conscious again, we need to have a serious talk. You are no longer safe in this world, and for you to become stronger, you will need to leave it, said Kyuubi after focusing some of the chakra out of Naruto's body into the fire to create a fox head. Leave this world? What the hell are you talking about? Said Naruto, frowning at the fire and at the fox head in front of him. Just as I originally said, kid. I will help you open a portal to Demon World that will take you right to the outside of my den, where I hold all sorts of knowledge, items, and skills for you to learn. However, if I do this, you have to do two things for me in return that I will hold you to your very word in keeping, said Kyuubi, as the seriousness in his voice didn't change. I'm listening, said Naruto curiously. First, you will drop that stupid smiling mask. It may fool those flesh maggots back in Konoha, but not the demons lying in wait in Demon World. You must be calm, yet as cold as ice, and your mind must be as sharp as steel, said Kyuubi, knowing that the only way the kid was going to get stronger was to remove the handicap he created for himself, even if it was only created to keep himself alive in a hostile environment. Done and done. What's the second? Said Naruto, interlacing his hands together, looking right at the fox, completely focused on getting stronger. You become my successor, the heir to my throne, and more importantly, become the son I was wanted. I will give you power, the knowledge I possess, and how to use or control that power. Whatever you do with the power I give you will be entirely up to your discretion in using, said Kyuubi, not wanting his legacy to die with him, as that would be one of the worst things imaginable for a demon. To be the last of your kind to die in such a lonely manner. So I would be a demon lord like you were? Said Naruto, frowning as he now imagined himself as a giant fox destroying everything in sight. Yes, but before you simply assume you would become a violent four-legged beast like I was, you are gravely mistaken. At least partially mistaken anyway, since we demons can have human-like forms when there are times that require us to be in them, said Kyuubi before turning its fiery-like head towards another figure in the cave moaning in pain. Who the hell is that? Said Naruto, getting up from his spot and walked over to the one person he thought would not be around, much less be breathing right now. Surely you remember him? I found him while taking you to safety, barely breathing, due to a disease that once plagued his lungs. His name is Kimimaro, if my memory is correct, from when he stopped you and that lazy Nara clan member from successfully completing your mission of retrieving the Uchiha from the other Sound Shinobi. I believe he will make a very nice spy and bodyguard for you during your time in Demon World once he is properly healed and fully cured him of the disease, said Kyuubi, as he looked at the albino, remembering the man's undying loyalty and how such love could be channeled to serve them. You mean he's not fully cured? Said Naruto, looking at the fox before sitting down near Kimimaro to see that the cursed seal on his chest was removed. A form of incentive in case the kid wants to still serve Orochimaru. Before, the disease could not be cured by normal human hands, but as you slept in your unconscious state, I used my demonic chakra to reduce the severity of disease. Now it is in a lower yet still lethal stage that can be possibly cured if he is given the proper treatment in time from a skilled doctor. I wonder how he will react when he learns that his disease became untreatable because of the curse seal that was once on his body, said Kyuubi, now laughing at the irony of the situation. What do you mean, Kyuubi? Said Naruto, looking at the fox, now not seeing the one eye of Kimimaro, now fully open, being awake, hearing the whole conversation. Orochimaru knew this boy had the disease long before it became known to Kabuto or Kimimaro himself, even when he was told. The curse seal that Orochimaru gave him had accelerated the disease's destruction rate ahead of schedule due to the corruption of the chakra in the seal itself. This in turn made Kimimaro unable to have Orochimaru use his body, but it also made the time he had on this earth short due to the increase in the disease spreading throughout his lungs, said Kyubi, seeing the albino was alive, but didn't let it show to either human. So, in a nutshell, had Kimimaro not been given the curse seal by Orochimaru, he could have been treated and then been used as the Sannin's newest body, said Naruto, his eyes widening at the stupidity of the snake man, wondering why he did what he did. Exactly. You see, for all Orochimaru's so-called power, he fears those that rival his no matter how loyal they are. And you know as well as I do, the Sannin will do anything to keep them under his thumb. Kimimaro has one of the strongest senses of will to live I have ever seen in a long time, curse seal or not. Had the Sannin tried to possess the albino without the seal, regardless of the disease, the jutsu would have failed, and Orochimaru would be no more, said Kyubi, turning his head now to see Kimimaro's open eye overflowing with watery tears as the truth pierced his very soul. My whole life up until now in his service has been nothing but a lie, thought Kimimaro angrily, knowing how far he went to please his former master with the assassination of the Kazekage that led to the Sound/Suna invasion, the rounding up of potential candidates for future body possessions, and the recent mission to retrieve the Uchiha being just a few of them. I know you're awake, albino. I've sensed it for some time, and I know you heard every little detail I just said to my vessel. I have spoken only the truth about what I said about your former master, Orochimaru, and your disease, said Kyubi, knowing that while the truth may hurt Kimimaro now, the rewards for doing so would be several times greater. I see that now. However, in some way I've always known that about Orochimaru and the knowledge that I was being used by him for his own end. Even though I knew this, I still followed the Sannin, knowing my life had purpose in serving another no matter the reason behind it, said Kimimaro, earning a nod from Naruto and understanding, since that was all he ever wanted to. Kami must have been asleep or taking a break when our lives were made a living hell, thought Naruto, wondering how Kami would explain this to him when they eventually met somewhere down the line. Incidentally, the angels up in heaven noticed that Kami was getting his team of lawyers together more and more to discuss legal matters, as it was put. You said I could be cured completely? Said Kimimaro, looking at the fox head made of fire that nodded in his direction. Yes, but such a thing is not without price. You served the snake Sannin with fanatical devotion, and so you will serve my vessel with the same loyalty. Do you have a problem with that? Said Kyubi, glaring at the albino, who shivered under the demon lord's gaze, knowing that it was far worse than Orochimaru's. No, Kyubi-sama, no problem at all. I swear that when I am fully healed by your power, that I will forever serve you and Naruto-sama until my last breath, said Kimimaro before he went into a small coughing fit with his disease acting up once more. Good. We will begin preparations for healing you soon once my heir and vessel has his strength returned to him, since it will be from his body the demonic chakra will flow from. Before that, I will begin the transformation of his form into that of a future fox demon. After those two objectives become complete, we will head to Wave Country to retrieve another pair of bodyguard and spies to assist in our endeavors, said Kyubi, knowing of two others they could retrieve to assist his vessel in anything that happens. You don't mean? Said Naruto, only to see Kyubi's fiery head nod once, making the boy's eyes widen. Yes, I do. Once they are resurrected, we will head to Demon World while your three new allies keep tabs on Konoha and the other villages while we're away for 3 years, said Kyubi, getting another surprised look from Naruto. 3 years? I can't learn everything you know in 3 years, said Naruto, wondering what the fox was thinking when it decided that. Ye have little faith, my child. You see, the whole thing involving time, seconds, minutes, hours, and everything else concerning the crap does not apply there. How do you think we demons have lived for so long without falling at the hands of Father Time? Said Kyubi, knowing that when he got through training Naruto, no force on Kami's sweet earth could or would be able to stop Naruto. Not even the second coming of Uchiha Madara. You know more than anyone when my body will be right for this transformation, so just tell when my body ready to handle it, and I'll do what I have to do, said Naruto, knowing that he pushed himself to a point of near suicidal tendencies when it came to fighting or training, and having to hold back a lot so the villagers would think he was harmless. Well, harmless enough anyway that they believed he couldn't kill them, but not so weak that he couldn't fight back. That, however, was going to change very soon. We'll start tonight then, said Kyubi before his fire-made form disappeared, making the decision final. Well, as long as we're waiting, let's learn more about each other, said Naruto, turning to Kimimaro, who nodded slightly, if not by much, from his position. His eyes are filled with pain like mine. I've seen those eyes before on another when I was still a child growing up right before my clan was killed, thought Kimimaro, as he mostly listened to Naruto tell him about pranks he pulled on people who had been mean to him. Kimimaro gave a weak smile when he heard how Naruto had managed to make a certain pink-haired woman end up with her head shaven in her sleep. Kimimaro almost let out a chuckle at how there was no proof Naruto had done it when asked about it the next day, without the Haruno woman incriminating herself telling the Hokage that she broke his S-class law that very same day that resulted in the prank itself being justified. Granted, Naruto didn't understand what she meant when she said those words, which had stopped her from being killed, but the fact that she was fired from her job and forbidden to take another for the next 8 months was just as bad. Naruto had enjoyed every minute of her frustration. Hokage Tower. Tsunade was depressed at the news given to her by the female Jounin moments ago, as she had sent Jiraiya to the source of the explosion with Yuhi Kurenai as his backup. They had hoped that Naruto would be there unconscious from using so much of the demon's power. What they saw was the charred ash remains of the entire Yinbyu unit sent after Naruto, but not the blonde-haired youth himself, meaning he was either dead or he had escaped. So Jiraiya went on ahead to search for Naruto. "I see sending you back to report to me about your findings," said Tsunade, knowing that as skilled as Kurenai, she was no match for Naruto, even in his weakened condition, especially if the QB was influencing him more and more. Yes, Jiraiya-sen felt that since he was the stronger of the two of us, that he stood a better chance at disabling Naruto than me, said Kurenai, who saw her Hyuga student look at her with pleading eyes before she left to leave Naruto alone. "I silently hope Jiraiya doesn't catch the idiot, so the kid can live a somewhat better life away from here," said Tsunade, curing her bad luck and losing the bet that made forced her to become Hokage. Whatever freedom he's gained won't last long. If Jiraiya-sen doesn't find him, Akatsuki, Orochimaru, or the hunter ninja sent out to look for him will. Is there any way you can remove the execution order given by the council? You are Hokage, and you do have more power than they make you believe you don't have, said Kurenai, wondering just how bad this village had gotten without the Sandaime or the Yondaime for that matter. "I wish I could Kurenai, but when Sarutobi-sensei died and Jiraiya went looking for me with Naruto, the council pulled a fast one in the law books. They gave themselves more power and influence over the village with the people supporting them since they all hate Naruto as well," said Tsunade, knowing that with the vast majority of the village behind the council, her power was thinned as it was. "For once, I almost wish the demon inside of him would possess Naruto. It would almost be a much more merciful death than the one meant for him here," said Kurenai, knowing that if the council wanted, they could no doubt do horrible things to Naruto before having him executed. What better way to solidify their power than offer up a sacrifice that was ironically already used as a sacrifice for different reasons? "If only I could tell the village who Naruto's parents were," said Tsunade, getting more and more frustrated with this with every passing second. "Why can't you tell them?" said Kurenai, wondering who the demon vessel's parents were. "Because the council won't let me like they did the third. If the village found out, then the council would be forced to disband under the grounds for putting their own needs ahead of a Hokage or his offspring," said Tsunade, having read a few of the laws placed down concerning such matters. "Wait, Naruto's father was a Hokage? But that means—" "Oh, sweet Kami," said Kurenai, as she pictured the late Yondaime right next to the boy and put the two together. "Yes. The only reason the council couldn't kill off Naruto back then apparently was that Sandaime was going to release that piece of information should the kid be killed. It would have made the council seem heartless and make them lose all self-respect within Konoha, allowing the third to execute them all for killing the son of a Kage," said Tsunade, as she remembered how the fourth and the council butted heads like rams in a power contest when first starting out to change things for the better in Konoha. Danzo was ordered to disband Root by the third, with the soon-to-be fourth supporting it while taking on an advisory position with little to no power except the use of his own voice. Both Hamura and Koharu were to step down shortly after the fourth took office to make way for new, but still experienced blood to take over. In short, it was supposed to be a simple changing of the guard, since the current Hokage at the time was getting too old and the council even older looking. That, of course, was before the QB had come and attacked, changing the dynamics of things around them, letting the old guard stay to get their revenge on the one who support their fall from power. With his now former friends turning on the one once in charge, the professor, when he became Hokage, used all of his political strength he had left to protect Naruto from the wolves that wanted him dead. So far, it did little to stop the hatred from affecting the poor boy it was aimed at. "You could still tell the people, and hopefully they will come around," said Kurenai, trying to fight the feeling of lead in her stomach at this knowledge given to her. "Even if I did, the council is still too far into power to pry them of it now, and would no doubt spin it in their favor. They would call Naruto a disgrace to the Fourth's legacy in abandoning the village, and tell everyone about the QB in him. It's the perfect excuse. They need to break the Third's law without being punished for it later on. I don't want to give them any more leverage than they already have," said Tsunade, sighing, wishing her little brother would come back soon. With Naruto nightfall, "It's time. Are you ready?" said QB, making his appearance once more from the fire, looking at a shirtless Naruto in mediating position with the seal showing on his stomach. "I sure am," said Naruto, bringing his hands together, and started making hand signs that QB showed him in his mind as demonic chakra swirled around the young boy with his necklace glowing slightly at this interaction. "Good. Repeat these words I send into your head after me out loud, and complete it just as you do the final hand sign. When that happens, your chakra will redirect itself back into the seal that holds me. By doing this, the seal will then collapse, allowing my power to flow in your chakra coil system without any interference. This will allow me to take temporarily control of your body, just long enough to alter your DNA for you to adjust to the full transformation. I won't lie to you, Kit. This will hurt a great deal beyond anything you've ever felt before, and for a brief moment you may technically die," said QB, wanting Naruto to know the ramifications of doing this specific transformation. "Let's get this thing started," said Naruto, focusing on his chakra and feeling it throughout his body, while Kimimaro had a chakra barrier over him to ensure his protection. "Begin," said QB, preparing himself for what was to happen and hope for the best, knowing that if this went bad, they were seriously screwed. Taking a deep breath, Naruto readied his mind and recited the words sent to him by the demon fox in his mind. "Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chain are broken, and I am free." Naruto had just finished saying the words as he landed on the final demon hand sign that QB showed that stood for fox in perfect sync. The instant that happened, Naruto felt as if the life in his body was being drained away, yet not leaving his body. It was as if it was being directed to a single point in his body, being filled like a glass, being filled with water to the brink of overflowing. Just as the feeling stopped, Naruto felt his heart also stopped, and just like QB said, it was in that moment that he felt as if death itself touched his very soul. It wasn't the first time this happened, since the villagers always made sure that he remembered his place in their lives. Those people Naruto was unfortunate to meet did die by the order of the old third Hokage, and their remains sent to the families, telling them to back off in any further attempt at attacking the child. However, with the Sandaime now dead, Naruto had no doubt that if he stayed in Konoha, the stupid villagers would no doubt try to be bolder, thinking that Tsunade, as their new Hokage, would be merciful to them and not care what happened to the demon boy. If and when he returned to the Leaf, they would find such joys of beating him up along with their days of living, depending on which villagers or shinobi he encountered. Just as his heart stopped from his lack of chakra, his heart now was thumping faster than a rabbit being chased, as his body had exploded with chakra, creating a spiraling tower. The demonic chakra shot upward, piercing the small mountainous area into the heavens with 9 tails like wave of chakra that soon following, tearing apart everything around Naruto. Not far away, what in the name of all things created by Kami, thought Jiraiya, seeing the sight before him on a tree, as he saw a large amount of terrain had been completely destroyed. The self-proclaimed super pervert could feel the intense and familiar taint of the strong, demonic chakra all around the destroyed area. Knowing that the QB had caused this some way, the Sannin headed towards the student in the hopes that the boy was alive yet unconscious. At least then Jiraiya could make the kill as painless as possible, even if he didn't want to do it in the first place. Damn council. They wouldn't even be around had it not been for the QB inside of Naruto, thought Jiraiya, having been given his order by Shizen that came from Tsunade. With Naruto stood panting from the exhausting transformation, with his clothing ripped, as he was now noticeable taller and had more of muscular build that was not too bulky, but not too thin either. His hands were now claws like when he normally called on the demonic power, His teeth were more pronounced, his eyes no longer blue, but rather purple and with fox-like slits. His once blonde hair was now longer, spikier, and with streaks of red going down from the roots straight down to the tips. His human ears were gone now, and above his head were red fox ears that were much sharper than his old ones. The only real thing that he didn't have were any of the 9 tails that would signify him as a true demon fox, which Naruto felt was slightly disappointing, considering that he was supposed to be Kyuubi's heir. I know what you're thinking, kid, in regards to being tailless, but the tails only come out when you transform into your beast-like state. Like me, when you transform, you will have all 9 tails at your beck and call to destroy whatever you see fit that you want destroyed, said Kyuubi, glad that it all worked out and that Naruto survived along with himself, since it would suck to die at the hands of your newly adopted son right after it was official. Good to know. Where's Kimimaro? Said Naruto, looking around, seeing the red dome like chakra barrier shielding the albino from harm. I am here, Naruto-sama. You do not need worry about me, said Kimimaro, shocked at seeing his new master's incredible power, and was glad he sided with the demon vessel, now soon to one day be demon lord. I asked because I do worry, Kimimaro-san. I don't want you to get hurt because of me, said Naruto, canceling the barrier around the albino before kneeling down and placing a hand on Kimimaro's chest. What are you doing? Said Kimimaro, as demonic chakra came to Naruto's hands before entering the albino's chest cavity. What's it look like, Baka? I'm healing you as previously discussed between you, me, and Kyuubi earlier. Now please hold still since this is going to hurt. A lot. Demonic healing art. Purge of the unnatural jutsu, said Naruto, closing his eyes and focusing on the disease in question, finding the sickly remains of the illness before burning it out of the albino's body. Naruto wasn't surprised that Kimimaro held back his scream for solid 10 seconds before letting it out for all of Fire Country to hear his cries. When the jutsu was done, there was a smoking imprint of Naruto's hand on Kimimaro's chest area with the said albino breathing heavily from the event. However, it was clearly noticeable that the breathing was smoother instead of the strained breaths Kimimaro had always taken originally due to the disease. I'm cured, said Kimimaro, finding almost hard to believe since he had been just moments ago plagued with a deadly illness. Yep, you were told that you would be cured and now you are. Now let's get the hell out of here before someone comes to investigate these series of events, said Naruto, sensing a figure fast approaching who had pretty strong chakra levels. Yes, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, rising up slowly from the ground, trying not to fall in front of his master before looking at his surroundings. Naruto, said Jiraiya, appearing before the 2 shinobi on a large horse-sized battle toad dressed in heavy armor. Well, if it isn't good old Ero Sennin, have you come to do what 8 AMBU teams could not? I know all about the order to kill me by the council, and how the old hag was just too spineless to fight back with everything she had, said Naruto, seeing the surprised look on Jiraiya's face at him, knowing the truth about that. Her hands were tied, Naruto. The council saw their chance to finally kill you over the fact that you failed mission to retrieve Sasuke, said Jiraiya, only to feel an increased amount of killer intent coming from Naruto, his eyes glowing red. They wanted to kill me over one failed mission, Ero Sennin? For some Uchiha who left willingly? Did you ever fail a mission? Of course you did. No one is perfect. You can't expect a small team of Genin and 1 Chunin to go after the Uchiha to come out on top. Especially when he's being protected by the personal bodyguards of Orochimaru, said Naruto, getting pissed at everyone screwing him over and the ones that supposedly care not having the guts to help out of fear of being labeled something they were ashamed of being called. I guess it's true what they say. When good men do nothing, it's evil enough. Or is it the phrase, evil triumphs? Maybe it's both, thought Jiraiya, knowing he had failed the 4th, and like Tsunade was still living in the past with his peeping rather than taking Naruto's training seriously. You tell that council and the arrogant villagers I'm dead because I am no longer the person known as Uzumaki Naruto. I am Kyuubi Naruto, the son of the Demon King, said Naruto, turning around and walking away with Kimimaro right behind him. Naruto, stop. I don't want to kill you, but I will, said Jiraiya, his toad, leaping over the 2 and in front of them with Jiraiya, forming a Rasengan in his right hand. Come against Naruto-sama, and I will not hesitate to kill you, said Kimimaro, using his bloodline, and got in a fighting position despite his slightly weakened condition. You should listen him, Ero Sennin. This guy right next to me was once hand-picked as the Hibi team's prize vessel before Sasuke, But the disease that I removed took that option away. I can also imagine Kimimaro is now stronger than your old teammate Erosenin, and despite my albino friend's current condition, I think with me added into the mix, you just don't know how things will end up for you, said Naruto, smiling a devious smile that made Jiraiya nervous. Naruto, said Jiraiya, only to be silenced by the killer intent the boy was giving off. Sorry? Is that the word you were going to say, Erosenin? Figure, since that is the only word you can say to me while trying to justify yourself to me. Go back to the old hag and tell her that you were no match for me. And I showed you mercy, since she will need your help to hold off the Leaf's enemies a little while longer. Now that the Uchiha is in Orochimaru's hands, I think she'll need all the help she can get to fend off both them and the Akatsuki. Oh, and Erosenin. Keep Kimimaro out of your report to the old hag, since we don't want Orochimaru finding out about him from his spies, and then trying to pursue my friend here to use for another body some 3 years down the road, said Naruto before he and Kimimaro walked around the giant toad, and Jiraiya, knowing that the man would more or less not pursue them out of the knowledge that the former demon vessel was right. He's right, I can't fight, much less kill him or the other guy if what Naruto said was true about his strength. Orochimaru only picked the strongest of potential shinobi around him in becoming his vessel, and if this albino kid was really considered the candidate with the disease before choosing Sasuke, then there is a good chance I could have lost, thought Jiraiya, letting his head hang in shame, knowing he had failed to do what was asked of him by the Hokage. Jiraiya, what do you want to do now? You want me to go after him? Said the toad, looking up at his summoner, who shook his head slowly. No, take me back to Konoha. I have to give Tsunade the bad news, said Jiraiya, his voice lacking emotion, knowing that when word got out what transpired here, things were going to go from bad to worse. As if they could get any worse. I'll have to tell Gamabunta about this. He really was attached to the kid, you know. It will break his old toad heart, said the toad, leaping off back to Konoha. If Tsunade doesn't kill me, he certainly can, said Jiraiya, not really caring about who beat the crap out of him in regards to this. Either way, Jiraiya felt dead inside. Several days later, those we seek are in the land of waves, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, frowning at the sight of the territory with the large bridge stretching, connecting it to the mainland. Yes, Kimimaro. This is also the place that I helped believe in heroes again and treated me as one too. You will show all of them the respect they deserve while we're here, said Naruto, heading towards the bridge with Kimimaro nodding in understanding. As you command, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, knowing that if these people respect his master, he could respect them in return. We can only stay here for a few days, since that damn council back in Konoha will not take Jiraiya's failure to kill you lightly. They will search every spot that you've been to that you are on good terms with due to outside missions, and this is one on a very small list, said Kyuubi, knowing it was only a matter of time before hunter ninjas were sent to find him here. What I have in mind won't take long, father. Besides, I need a new set of clothing since what I have is kind of irritating me, said Naruto, knowing that it didn't matter if he spoke out loud to his father, since Kimimaro knew who he was talking about. It didn't take long for them to cross the bridge and meet the thriving populace of Wave, who greeted Naruto despite being a little concerned by his changes. They weren't afraid of him, mind you, but they were more surprised than anything by his new look since they last saw him only a few months ago. Naruto and I-chan, said Inari, having run up to hug the older boy, embracing his hero and surrogate brother, having missed him after just a few months. Hey Inari, everything okay here in Wave Country? Said Naruto, smiling at the smiling boy before him, seeing happiness in those eyes. You bet. Our daimyo even named a holiday in honor of you. We call it Heroes Day to honor heroes like you, Nichan. But can I ask you a question? Said Inari, finally noticing the new look his brother was sporting. Is it about my appearance? Tell you what, you take both me and my friend Kimimaro here to your house. I'll tell you all about it, said Naruto, seeing Inari nod his head up and down excitedly at having his big brother back home. They truly do care about Naruto-sama. This is a place where heroes are respected and is worth fighting for, thought Kimimaro, seeing looks of respect towards his master as Inari led them to his house where his mother and grandfather currently were. To say that both Tsunami and Tazuna were surprised was an understatement, as she gave Naruto a hug while Tazuna broke out another bottle to drink in honor of the kid's return. Granted, the old man was going to open another bottle regardless, but now he had a whole new reason and special occasion to, which made it all the sweeter. After Naruto explained all that happened to him, from his supposed execution that was supposed to take place in Konoha to the point where he became the son of Kyuubi, and then to introducing Kimimaro to them, The family was quite shocked. The once poor family had understood when they first met the boy that Naruto didn't exactly have the best childhood, and now they knew the reason why. To think they would hate you because you have the demon sealed inside of you, or on the belief that you are the fox in human form. That's just pathetic. Well, I'm going to talk to the daimyo about this and see if we can't stick it to those assholes back in Konoha, said Tazuna in a slightly drunken haze, but still sober enough to speak his mind. Father, mind your language in front of Inari, said Tsunami, scolding her father for his choice of language in front of her child. Thanks, Tazuna, I appreciate it. I know a few places you can branch out from in terms of trade. You can give your daimyo when you speak to him. Just tell him that the hero from Wave gave them his personal recommendations for doing business with, said Naruto before writing down the places that they should try for trading and gave it to the old man, who read over the list several times. Snow Country? Really? Wow. If you think that will help us in trading with us, I'm all for it, kid. Especially after I heard that the place became the exact opposite of its name now, after a certain shinobi paid it a little visit. I think the princess there was able to rename it Spring Country or something like that, said Tazuna, seeing several shinobi villages on the list, which was good since they weren't going to do business with Konoha anymore. You mean Princess Yuki? Yeah, I know her. I helped her believe that heroes do exist and helped her country get back on its feet. Trust me when I say that she will be more than happy to do business with you for a long time, Tazuna-san. Provided, of course, that you were sober during the negotiations of the trade agreement between Wave and Spring, said Naruto, knowing that trade between the two countries would do wonders for the both of them. Sweet, said Inari, knowing that Wave was going to prosper even further thanks to his Nichan. Forgive me for interrupting your conversation, Naruto-sama, but we are on a very tight schedule and need a change of clothing before we set out on our mission, said Kimimaro, hoping he was doing the right thing in terms of bringing up their business in front of this innocent family. No, you are right, Kimimaro, we do have things to do, and we need to do them quickly. Tsunami-chan, do you know of a tailor me and Kimimaro can go to for clothing? Said Naruto, looking at the woman before him, who nodded and gave him directions to a place that had set up shop only a few weeks ago. With the information at hand, the two shinobi head out to the store, with Inari going with them to make sure they got there and to see their new looks firsthand. Since his Nichan had ripped pants and barely fitting shirt while his albino friend was shirtless with dark baggy pants, it was clear that they needed a look that would show they were completely badass. Quite frankly, Inari wouldn't have it any other way. Konoha Kage Tower. Damn that demon hell spawn. We lost a team of Anbu to him, and the Toad Sannin was apparently powerless to stop him and showed mercy to prove how weak we've become, said Danzo, slamming his good hand on the desk in front of his fellow council members, who all nodded in agreement. This information about him become the QB's son is most frightening indeed. If we do nothing, then Konoha will fall before it has had a chance to recover from the damage we suffered during the Sand/Sound invasion, said a civilian council member who was well known to being in Danzo's pocket in terms of support for the Warhawk. Many, if not all, of the clan heirs are quite upset at what has happened to the demon boy, while only the Haruno child is still devoted to the last Uchiha. Apparently, the demon has had a powerful influence on them, and those that are not in the hospital are becoming somewhat hostile to the villagers. Even more so are some of the shinobi that knew and like the damn demon, who know more about his childhood. The old woman in charge of the orphanage that would try to starve the vessel was found hanged in the village square with her guts and eyes ripped out, with no witnesses to how she got there. We suspect it was one, if not several, of the more skilled Jounin ninja loyal to the late 4th and 3rd Hokage, but we can't prove which ones, said Koharu, sighing at this, as the village was not as stable as they had all hoped it would be. Somewhere in Konoha, in a dango restaurant, Anko and Hana sneezed loudly while Ibiki held his in after sensing it coming. Having his name mentioned so many times by the late 3rd, 4th, and current 5th Hokage had its advantages for Ibiki, having developed a sixth sense to these things. We will deal with those demon lovers as time passes while we wait for the demon to make another appearance in the other countries before we can plan an attack strategy. In addition to our outer attack plan, we will focus on an inner attack strategy to kill him. I know how the demon thinks, and sooner or later the beast will re-enter Konoha to save his precious people. And when he does, we will strike him down with all our might. With the creature gone, the people will love us and will see that Tsunade was wrong to support the demon spawn. They will see that we, the council, not the Hokage, is needed to ensure that Konoha's future shines as brightly as the sun itself, said Danzo, knowing that with the order out to kill the QB vessel/sun on sight, in effect the abomination was as good as dead. Those poor, stupid, unfortunate, and arrogant souls. Naruto and Kimimaro followed Inari to the clothing shop Tsunami mentioned to find that the place had everything they needed. Apparently, a former merchant from Water Country had somehow managed to get out of the chaotic and unstable place to set up shop in a now stable Wave Country. They had everything from clothes to weapons, and even low-level water jutsus with instructions on how to combine their power with certain weapons to make them much more lethal. "Good day, young masters. How may I be of service to you?" said the store owner, bowing his head towards the three boys. "My brother and his friend here need fresh clothing since they just went through hell and back," said Inari, smiling at the man, and the fact he could finally curse without his mom around to scold him like she did her old man. "Of course, and may I suggest some weapons perhaps?" said the store owner, seeing that the two older boys were clearly shinobi from their stances. "Kunai and shuriken for us, but nothing more than that," said Naruto, knowing that his father's den had more than its fair share of weapons. "Very good, young masters, very good. Now if you will come with me, I'll simply get your measurements and get you the clothing you desire," said the store owner, leading the two farther back while Inari stayed to secretly stand guard. "In Konohokage Tower. You want to send another team after him, Tsunade-sama?" said Shizen, looking at her teacher with shock, knowing that not just anyone could be sent to retrieve Naruto. "I have no choice, Shizen." The council wasn't exactly pleased with Jiraiya's failure to kill, much less return Naruto for them to kill themselves. "Those old cranes demanded that I send another team regardless of them being overpowered or not. Since they overruled me, I have no choice. But fortunately for me, I intend to choose which team is suitable for the task," said Tsunade, though she wished that the council would just simply leave the boy alone. "Who are you going to send?" said Shizen, knowing that her teacher must have a plan of some sort should the team successfully return Naruto. Shino, for one, despite being out on a mission with his father, could help in this situation in helping Naruto see some way in coming home without force. Hinata is another choice. She has a crush on the boy, which I hope that with her kind nature and presence would stem the hate in his heart. I was thinking of sending Sakura, but after I found out about her hostility towards Naruto when he got back from the mission, I'm moving against that. I'll also send Guy and Anko as their squad leaders, knowing that if the situation gets out of hand, those two can hopefully at least stall Naruto long enough for the others to possibly get away from his wrath," said Tsunade, knowing that the last thing she needed right now was a slaughter of several future clan heads. "I'll get them right away, Tsunade-sama," said Shizen, heading out to retrieve them. "I just hope this doesn't backfire on me," said Tsunade, wishing the council would get off her back about Naruto, since they were the reason he was like this in the first place. Wave Country several hours later. "So how do you like your new clothes, young masters?" said the store owner, seeing that Kimimaro was wearing black combat boots, black baggy MBU pants, a blood-red shirt with the kanji symbol for Sin of Mankind on the back, and a mask covering the lower half of his mouth with the mask showing fang teeth. "They're quite good. Thank you, Chimera-san," said Naruto, who now wore an old-style shinobi black bodysuit with the kanji symbol for Death's Master on the back in blood red. "The honor is all mine, Naruto-sama. As for the price on these, I give them to you on the house to show my appreciation for a hero like yourself. You brought life and hope to this once-dying place, so it's only fitting that I show you how much that means to me." After Water Country started to fall apart, I was beginning to believe the world was going to fall into a form of dark age. "After seeing life in this place, I'm happy to know that I was wrong," said Chimera, as he had been told all about Naruto when he first set up shop in Wave. "Naruto-sama will soon accomplish many things in the years to come, Chimera-san, that I can assure you," said Kimimaro, as the two walked out with Inari seeing and giving them two thumbs up, saying they looked like they were ready to kick some ass. Konohokage Tower. Sakura and Kakashi sat before the Hokage in her office, both squirming slightly under the hawk-like gaze of the busty woman, who was not exactly pleased with either of them at the moment. Tsunade had read reports on the favoritism Kakashi showed Sasuke and the verbal abuse Sakura gave Naruto right after the failed mission to retrieve the Uchiha. It was also clear that the two knew why they were now sitting in her office, since they both looked guilty. "I don't suppose either of you have anything to say to me in your defense in regards to your actions towards Naruto?" said Tsunade, looking at the two. "Hokage-sama, I know I didn't spend as much time as I should have with Naruto, or even Sakura here in terms of training like I did Sasuke. However, Uchiha Sasuke is clearly the most talented of the three, since he beat Naruto at the Valley of the End despite the aid of the Cursed Seal, said Kakashi, hoping it would help justify his reason in favoring Sasuke. I know I yelled at Naruto earlier at the hospital, but the Baka deserved it. He promised he would bring Sasuke back to me, and he failed to keep it, said Sakura, knowing she had her own reason for doing it, and after her parents praised her for it, she had felt quite pleased with herself. That is, of course, until Tsunade summoned Sakura to her office for a little talk, as the female leader of the village put it. So you two feel your feelings toward Naruto are justified all because of Sasuke is an Uchiha and a broken promise that nearly killed Naruto after the fight? Tell me, Kakashi, after examining Naruto's wounds, can you tell me what move was used to nearly kill your student? Tell me, Sakura, who beat Sasuke no Gaara during the invasion that saved your miserable life, said Tsunade, her voice becoming dark now, and her eyes narrowed even further. My original jutsu, the Chidori I taught Sasuke in order to fight Gaara for his match at the Chunin exams, said Kakashi, knowing that the boy would need it to fight difficult opponents. Sasuke-kun saved me. I know he told me it was Naruto, but that's just Sasuke-kun being modest and caring, said Sakura in her fangirl-like state, not seeing the furious look now held in Tsunade's eyes. You both disgust me. Kakashi, you teach Sasuke your prized Chidori thinking it would defeat Gaara. But you taught Naruto nothing, knowing he was facing the Hyuga prodigy of the Hyuga branch clan. Also, what would have happened if Sasuke had lost to Gaara had Orochimaru not interrupted it? If it wasn't for my old teammate teaching Naruto at the time, then your moronic choice of a substitute, then Naruto would have lost, said Tsunade, scowling further at the man before her, knowing he shouldn't have taught the Chidori to Sasuke no matter what the man said. That Baka would have lost anyway. He just got lucky, said Sakura, not caring anymore about how she should talk to Naruto since he was no longer in the village. He did far better than you to get to the finals, Haruno, so don't think you are all high and mighty in comparison to him. Also, in case you need another reality check, Naruto was the one that defeated Gaara, not Sasuke. And I have all the reports from the Suna siblings to prove it. Had it not been for Naruto's intervention to save you, Sakura, Gaara's power over the sand that held you at his mercy would have crushed you like an insect, said an angry Tsunade, who saw Sakura scowling slightly as she looked away, not believing that it was Naruto that saved her and not Sasuke. I take it that's not the only reason you called us here, is it? Said Kakashi, knowing that when the Hokage decides to punish you, it's quite a punishment. What was your first guess? Starting right now, Kakashi, you are hereby demoted back to Chunin and to learn what it means to be a team player. You are also forbidden to go to the Memorial Stone until I see that you will no longer become lazy because of it. As for you, Sakura, I'm sending you back to the academy to relearn everything from certain female instructors I'm placing there that I'm hoping will beat the living hell out of the fangirl residing in you. Whether they do this literally or figuratively to you during your training is their choice. If you don't like it, then stop being a leaf shinobi altogether, said Tsunade, seeing the shocked looks on both their faces. With that argument over, Tsunade went back to the mountainous pile of paperwork that now stood before her. How she hated this job. Elsewhere in Konoha, Jiraiya sighed as he stared at Konoha from his spot, seeing how people were having little celebrated events concerning Naruto, leaving not caring that the boy had kept them safe for the past 12+ years. The boy had been hated by so many and loved by the few in his life, growing up in the village that thought of him as a demon. Given the alternative being executed, I guess the idea of being the son of Kyuubi is not as bad as it sounds. Hell, I would probably follow through with it if I was constantly treated like crap for most of my whole beginning years of life. Thought Jiraiya was ashamed that he himself couldn't protect Naruto all those years that forced the boy to abandon his life as a human being and actually became Kyuubi's son. When he told the Hokage, she wasn't exactly thrilled. Flashback. What do you mean Naruto has declared himself the son of Kyuubi? Said Tsunade, now looking pissed off like the day she caught Jiraiya peeping on her and beat him within an inch of his life. I'm afraid it's the truth, Tsunade. Whatever happened to Naruto came directly from the Kyuubi himself. I don't know if the demon manipulated him into it, or if the kid simply let it happen out of a moment of weakness for what was going to happen to him here in Konoha on account of his soon-to-be execution. However, I can say this, from what I felt from Naruto, he is no longer human anymore, Tsunade, and may have even transformed himself into a full-fledged demon fox, said Jiraiya before he let out a sigh, knowing this would not go over well in the village when people found out about this. Damn it, If the council finds out about this, then they have more support from the public in wanting Naruto dead. What better way to exact revenge on the Kyuubi than killing his proclaimed son, said Tsunade, sighing at that fact, not liking it one bit. It's not just that, Tsunade. When I looked into Naruto's eyes, I saw none of the happiness they used to hold, but rather near limitless amount of rage swirling within them. He was so angry at me, at us, and basically everyone else here in Konoha for making his life so damn miserable. He wants nothing to do with us, Tsunade, whether we're his friends or not, and I think the best thing to do is leave him alone to be himself. Naruto won't return to finish what Kyuubi started, that I'm sure of, but if we confront and provoke him, that just may be a different story, said Jiraiya, noticing the heartbreaking look Tsunade now had on her face. How can you say that, Jiraiya? I won't rest until he's brought back to Konoha. Screw the council and their united vote to give the execution order. I will do everything that is in my power and beyond to ensure Naruto's safety in this village when he is brought back, said Tsunade, not wanting to lose the boy she had become so fond of and had breathed new life in her body. You say that now, Tsunade, but the real question is, can you actually back up your claim if you succeed? Said Jiraiya before leaping out the window. In flashback, Jiraiya sighed again, remembering how the urge to do some research at the hot springs seemed to die in him now that Naruto was gone. The kid had so much potential to be his successor to his book on account of the sexy jutsu, which would have allowed Naruto to actually go into the women's side of the hot springs and not get beat up. I mean, it was brilliant, if not genius. Aside from that, though, the kid was the closest thing Jiraiya had left of his previous and deceased student that was the Yondaime. Now that Naruto was gone, by renouncing his life as a human being and replacing it with the demons, Jiraiya felt as if part of him died as well. He wanted his new student to be as strong and hopefully just as perverted as he was when Naruto got older. But this whole thing with the council ordering his execution had shot it all to hell. I wonder what Kami's judgment of me will be when I die. Will he be merciful, or is Kami really a woman and hates perverts? Please be the former, thought Jiraiya, though deep down he knew that it was probably the latter and he was most likely screwed. Wave Country. So, this is Wave Country, huh? Looks much better than what I had heard when that pig of a man Gato ruled over this place, said Anko, having used her snakes to pick up Naruto's trail to Wave Country. It seems logical that Naruto would come here, considering it is the closest place in his heart to a second home when away from Konoha, said Shino, his bugs telling him that there was a second chakra signature with Naruto's, though it was masked by the demonic presence of their comrade. Did you really think that in Naruto-kun W will come be back with us if W ask him to? Said Hinata, wondering what her crush looked like now that they had all been informed by Tsunade of his changes. YOSH, I believe Naruto's flames of youth, while change, still burn brightly and should not be counted out in rejoining the leaf once more, said Guy, giving the girl a shiny smile with a thumbs up. Yeah, if the council and villagers don't kill him first, said Anko, though it was more to herself than the others. As the group made their way to the bridge, they saw the plaque on the side, making them stop in shock and surprise when they read it. Now crossing the great Uzumaki Naruto Bridge, named in honor of the very hero that inspired us to believe that heroes really do exist. Naruto-kun has a bridge of this magnitude named after him and is considered a true hero in their eyes, thought Hinata, in awe of her crush being seen by others as a hero too. We'll all be dipped in chocolate naked. This bridge is huge, and it's named after the little runt for being heroic, said Anko, shaking her while smirking, while Shino tried to hide his blush at the special Jounin's words. Let us enter and see if we cannot find our lost comrade, said Guy before rushing across the bridge to find Naruto with the others in tow. Zabuza's and Haku's graves. Are these the ones, Naruto-sama? Said Kimimaro to Naruto, with Inari not far behind to be their lookout, since this was a very delicate procedure they were doing. The 8-year-old kid had been told what they were going to do, and while Inari was freaked out by it, he was assured they wouldn't go about eating people brains like those zombie movies everyone was talking about. Inari understood, but still felt his stomach wouldn't be able to handle the sight of 2 people rising from the dead, and when asked why they couldn't do it for his father, Naruto told him that Kaiza had been dead for too long. With Zabuza and Haku, they still had a chance to bring back from the dead, since they had been decreased for less than 2 months, while Kaiza had been dead much longer past the time needed to bring the man back to life. However, Naruto assured Inari that if there had still been time for Kaiza to be revived, that he would have been the first in being resurrected just to make the boy's mother happy. Inari understood, knowing that Naruto would always use his power to take away the pain of a person or family that didn't deserve such suffering. Yes, Kimimaro-san, these are two shinobi that were the first outside of Konoha that I had ever come to respect. You will stand watch with Inari while I perform the demonic ritual needed to revive them. I sense familiar chakra signatures have just entered Wave Country, and this will no doubt bring them here. Once I am done, you are to take us back to Tezuna's house before we are spotted, said Naruto, getting a nod from the albino, who walked over to Inari to tell him of the plan. I'll take over from here, Kit. You are still new to this whole thing, so it's best if I do this with you watching and learning on the side, said Kyubi, knowing that only though his experience could this work. As you wish, father, I trust your reasoning, thought Naruto, bowing his head slightly as his new father possessed his body. In the name of the Demon King, all that is darkness and damnation, I call upon the two spirits of the underworld to hear me. I command both Momochi Zabuza and Haku to come forth from the underworld to return to their bodies, so they may live and rise once again. As the ruler of hell, I command you to rise again. Demon's secret art, rise from the grave jutsu, said Kyubi after completing the hand signs and slammed his hands into the ground, sending a blast of demonic chakra towards the two graves. Once the demonic chakra made contact with the graves, the earth surrounding it rumbled and shook violently beneath Naruto's feet. Soon 2 sets of hands shot out of the ground with the bodies attached, rising as they let out gasps for breaths, as well as letting out loud screams of pain from having their souls reattached to their bodies. Naruto, or rather it was Kyubi now possessing Naruto's body, who raised his hands and shot demonic chakra at them, making it look like they were being electrocuted by red lightning. Such power, thought Kimimaro, seeing the massive amount of chakra being launched at the 2 former corpses of the earth. Inari thought the same thing. Meanwhile, in Wave Country, Hinata was nervous, looking for a friend and crush while walking amongst the populace of Wave Country when she saw the people looking at her with disdain in their eyes. It had made her feel unwelcome in her mind, just like when she was back home, while near some of the traditionalized Hyuga clan elders and how they all thought she was weak. Geez, they were fine with Naruto and Team 7 after they saved them all from Gato, but not us. No respect, said Anko, crossing her arms as she was disappointed in how these people were looking at her team. It's not that, Anko-san. It's something else entirely different. My bugs tell me that they have found out about what was going to happen to Naruto and don't feel like welcoming his potential executioners into their country, said Shino, sensing the anger from these people and his bugs telling him to be careful. Good point, said Anko, scowling a little because of Konoha's bigots and fools that had caused this and wanting the kid dead. The real question is where Naruto could be hiding, said Guy, rubbing his finger against his chin in thought. Now let's try Titazuna-san's H house. T the man W is the C client that H hired Naruto Quinn's T team, said Hinata, blushing slightly at the thought of being right and seeing her crush again. It would seem logical that Naruto would stay with someone he knows that will take him in without question, said Shino, who got a nod from them group and headed out only to stop when they felt the surge of immense power coming to the east of their position. What the hell? Said Anko, feeling the demonic presence behind the sheer volume of power being unleashed. Naruto-kun, thought Hinata worriedly, using her Byakugan to see the demonic power being generated was so massive that even her father would quake in fear of such strength now within her sights. Let's go, said Guy, heading off with the others behind him. Weary, Aolivi, said Zabuza, looking at Haku and himself before looking at what appeared to be an exhausted Naruto standing before them. Save your strength, Zabuza. You too, Haku. I brought you both back from the depths of hell and beyond so that you may help me in my future endeavors, said Naruto, panting heavily, sweating up a storm at all the chakra Kyubi used while possessing his body. Naruto-sama, I sense shinobi are approaching. I sent Inari home feeling he might be used against you, said Kimimaro, knowing that Inari, while a brave young boy already, could be used as a bargaining chip for his master to surrender, and the albino would have none of that happening. Thanks, Kimimaro. Take these 2 and the sword to Tezuna's house. They must not be seen, or else knowledge of their existence will be brought to both Konoha and Mist. We can't allow that to happen, said Naruto, feeling his power slowly returning to him and the breaths evening out at a slower pace. I cannot leave without you, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, not wanting to abandon the young demon heir, at a moment of danger. You will do as I have asked of you, Kimimaro. I need to cover the graves so they don't suspect a thing. Even in my weakened condition, I can hold them off, so do not worry, said Naruto, seeing Kimimaro reluctantly bow before he picked up the two bodies and took off. Are you sure you can handle this? Said Kyuubi, looking at his son and the boys' now redesigned mindscape that looked like the inside den area of a large house complete with a fireplace and everything. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give myself 7, thought Naruto, as he proceeded to cover up the graves quickly to make it look like they were undisturbed. With the retrieval team, Hinata ran as fast as her legs would allow her to go, with her being a close second behind Anko, who was trailing slightly behind Guy, and Shino was several feet back due to his large coat creating wind resistance. The Hyuga heiress hoped she would see Naruto soon, since all she wanted was to see her crush, even if it was just one more time, if only that. She had seen the hatred the village unleashed upon him and how they were cruel to him by not allowing him in stores, chasing him away from restaurants. And on his birthday of all days, she never saw him, since it was also the day of the Kyuubi festival. Even if I can just see Naruto Koen one more time, that's all I need before he goes. I want to tell him how I feel, so he knows that at least one person cared about him when no one else did, thought Hinata, as she and the team soon reached their destination with Naruto standing there looking past the two graves with his back to them. My bugs tell me he has changed. No, not changed, but rather he has become something different altogether than the rest of us. That and his mood has changed since we last saw him, thought Shino, frowning as he stared at this new Naruto like the rest of the group did while slowly walking forward. Come to watch the scenery with me, said Naruto, turning his gaze to the shock team, not expecting him to sense them, since they had been so quiet. Tazuna's house. Tsunami-san, I need your assistance with these two, please, said Kimimaro, who gave Haku to the young woman, who placed the boy on a chair, and the albino placed Zabuza on the nearby sofa. I can't believe the kid revived these two. I hope he did the right thing, said Tazuna, as he watched the two with a careful drunken. I sense he had past history with these two guys. Naruto-sama brought them back to life for a reason, and I trust his judgment. I hope you also understand why he cannot do that for the man named Kaiza, said Kimimaro, since Inari had already been given the explanation. It's all right, my pasty white friend. Kaiza is in heaven right now, so it would be rude to pull him out of there as it is, said Tazuna, knowing that Tsunami would understand since Inari and he himself already did. Do you think Naruto-san will make it back before saying goodbye? Said Inari, who was slightly worried that his hero and brother would fall due to his weakened state. I have seen and felt Naruto-sama's power before I was in his service. I can tell you now, without fear of being wrong, that my master will not fall no matter the odds stacked against him, said Kimimaro, looking out at the window closest to him before he went back to taking care of Zabuza. At the graves, you all seemed surprised that I sensed you. Your stealth itself was good, but you forgot to hide your chakra signatures. And while this is not your fault, I could hear Shino's bugs buzzing around in his body. You really should try to earn to keep those guys quiet, said Naruto, smirking as he turned around to fully face them. Uzumaki Naruto, we were asked by the 5th Hokage herself to try and bring you back to Konoha one last time. Comply with her wishes or you will be taken by force, said Anko, knowing that the kid would sooner resist rather than simply, okay, take me to my execution. Naruto could see the hesitant look in Hinata's eyes when Anko mentioned the last part, and that made the demon fox prince curious as to why she was even chosen. He knew the girl was shy by nature, no doubt, due to the expectations set by her damn clan, and that sending her to possibly fight him would be like sending a cow to his slaughterhouse. If he was as evil as everyone made him out to be, why should I comply with her wishes? So she can watch me be executed? To die for all the public to see? To simply end the pain of the villagers and shinobi? When I had no say in mine? You know what I'm talking about, right, Anko-san? I've seen the looks people give you, both civilian and shinobi alike. How many people have assaulted you, beat you to a bloody pulp? How many times did they starve you? How did you handle receiving outdated and rusty weapons that you paid for triple the price of the good stuff? I bet that trench coat of yours and a year's supply of dango you suffered through some way with the questions I just asked you. So if you can look me straight in the face and tell me that you were treated nicely by the village after what happened to you with the Sannin, then I will come back with you, said Naruto, looking right in the eyes with his piercing hers, making Anko flinch at the impact they had, and knew that Naruto knew that her life wasn't all joy and games either. The Hokage wanted us to tell you she had a plan to save you, but it will only work if you return, said Shino, since it was true that the woman did have some kind of plan even if they didn't know what it was. Let me guess, she'll either have me locked away for a few years before she can request an audience with the fire daimyo to hear my case, or seal off my chakra permanently to appeal the masses, thinking the demon is vulnerable to attacks, thus making me a bigger target than ever. I'll pass on both since I know she'll fail to amuse the council with the idea. They know that Jiraiya could undo any sealing done to me, and that the fire daimyo will punish them if he gets his audience with the old hag concerning me, since he favored the third and fourth Hokage. The council tried so hard to gain some form of influence over him with the advisors they sent over to try and gain his favor with suggestions that he didn't like. Fortunately, the man has a good heart and can see past prejudice and hate, unlike most of the assholes in Konoha, so I don't have to worry about the council trying to use him to make me become labeled as a fire country-wide menace, said Naruto, now smiling a feigned smile, making Guy and Shino shiver in fear, while Anko was close to it. The only one not shivering was Hinata, because by some act of Kami or her own power, she wasn't sure. She found herself moving towards Naruto, walking slow, careful steps as if the last one would make her trip and fall on her face. "Hinata, what are you doing?" said Anko, seeing Hinata walking toward him without any weapon in hand or chakra in her hands for a gentle fist strike. "That's what I'd like to know," thought Naruto, turning his gaze right to Hinata, who had somehow managed to get within near arm distance of him, yet made no move in form of attacking or anything like that. Hinata herself didn't know why she was doing this, as she just felt that she had to move closer to him to look him in the eyes and tell him how she felt before she possibly lost him forever. She wanted her hands to touch his whisker marks, to look into his once blue, now red, silted eyes, tell him without wavering that she cared about him, and to plead with him to come back to Konoha so they could be together. She would have her father use all his political strength to save Boy somehow. Hinata knew the Hyuga clan's power held much sway in the ways of the political arena, and as a plus her father had no grievances with Naruto whatsoever. "See me now as I see you, Naruto-kun," thought Hinata as she slowly stared up at him, looked into his eyes, showing all the love she had for him that they could create, in the hopes he would know that no matter, that she cared and would stay with him to the end. "Stupid girl, Kurenai is going to kill me," thought Anko, knowing that if she tried to throw anything she might hit Hinata, and then she would be in a world of trouble. "Naruto-kun, please don't leave us. The other rookies need you now, Tsunade-sama sent us because she needs you, and I need you as well. You mean everything to me, Naruto-kun. You are my strength, my courage, and my very inspiration to improve myself. If you leave now, it would be as if you died, and I don't think my heart could take it," said Hinata, moving even closer to him and placing a hand on his whiskered cheek. There is no lie in her words. She really does care, thought Naruto, finding the touch of her hands soothing and the smell of lavenders that came off of her consuming his sense of smell. "Please come back, Naruto-kun. My father can protect you from the council. If you come back, I know he could, since you have done so much for me and Niji. When I get stronger, I want you to be there to see it and tell me how proud you are of me with my progress to get stronger," said Hinata, looking at the boy, who seemed to be lost in thought. "Hinata, your words are sincere as you are sweet. However, despite your good intentions, I cannot go back, not simply because I am a shinobi who ran away from Konoha, but due to the fact that I will be killed when news reaches everyone that I am now truly a demon. The son of Kyubi, to be more precise," said Naruto, looking at Hinata's pained eyes, and stroked her cheek affectionately before breathing in her scent while trying to remember every second of it. "I don't care if you're a demon now. I just want to be with you, Naruto-kun, because I love you. I need you because I love you with all my heart," said Hinata, looking up at the boy, who seemed surprised by this declaration since he never really felt love in his life up until now. "Naruto, we can't stay here forever. Kimimaro will get worried eventually and look for us, making him noticeable to Konoha as well as the world at too soon a time. Tell the shy Hyuga that you will one day return to see her, but not for several years," said Kyubi, knowing that it would have to do, since it was he could do to stop this girl's heart from shattering. "Hinata, I'll always be with you, but where I go you cannot follow. And even if you tried, I don't want you to, for I promise you that I will return to see you," said Naruto, kissing her forehead, making Hinata's face turn redder than a cherry at picking time. "Why, you mean it?" said Hinata, her voice now a whisper, due to the impact of her crush kissing her on her forehead. Her lips would have been better, but Hinata wasn't about to complain. Of course, once a demon lord makes a promise, he is honor-bound to keep. But don't tell anyone that, or else we'll both get into a lot of trouble, said Naruto in a tiny whisper of his own, since they did have an audience with them. When will I see you again? Said Hinata, taking several steps back, not noticing that the people behind her were now telling to move away to get a clear shot. I'll be wandering around in 3 years after my training in Demon World to do my own thing, so I can make a good name for myself. Get strong, Hinata. I'll be waiting for you, said Naruto, winking at her before he was consumed in flame and vanished, leaving only ash behind from the grass beneath his feet. Damn it, Hinata, you do know that we have to report this, right? Hinata, said Anko, now looking at the girl whose face was glowing so much everyone around her thought she was radioactive. Naruto kissed me, said Hinata in a whisper before collapsing under a faint spell with steam coming out of her ears. Okay, I think we can all agree to take this last part out of our report. Last thing her clan needs to hear is their heiress falling for demon royalty, said Anko, getting a nod from the other two, since it wouldn't look good in the eyes of the clan elders and some of the main family. To Zuna's house. I'm afraid the time has come for us to go, said Naruto, right after he appeared in a swirl of flame, shocking everyone in the room, since no one knew he could do that. Naruto, listen, said Inari, rushing to his big brother, and gives him a hug. What do you mean you have to go, Naruto? Said Tsunami, showing worry on her face. Yeah, you just got here. Come one and stay a while. Have a drink. Marry my daughter, said Tazuna in a drunken state, only slapped in the back of his head by Tsunami. I wish I could, but I'm afraid I can't. Shinobi are after me, and I can't have them find out I'm here with all of you. Kimimaro, once they're more awake and able to move, I need you to tell them about the plan. Tell them of their purpose in returning from the grave, and tell them that while you three are spying for me, that they are to get stronger as well. They will not be relying on their water jutsus or bloodlines, but trying to use other things so they don't become recognizable to anyone. Only use those styles as a last resort, since no one will expect those types of skills to exist after so long. Understand, said Naruto, as he looked at his albino warrior. Of course, Naruto-sama, said Kimimaro, knowing where his master was going. As for the rest of you, Inari my brother, Tsunami the mother I always wanted, and you Tazuna are the drunken yet comical grandfather who stands up for what is right. I hope to make you proud beyond all your expectations, said Naruto, meaning every word he spoke before he disappeared in a burst of flame. At the great Uzumaki Naruto Bridge. Ready to go, my boy, said Kyubi, grinning at finally being able to go home with his newly declared son. Yeah. Hey Kyubi, can I ask you something? Thought Naruto, going through hand signs to open the portal to demonic realm. Fire away, said Kyubi, curious to his son's question. What do you think of Hinata? Thought Naruto, wondering what his father would say about the Hyuga heiress. The shy one that smells of lavenders? Her heart is in the right place. She holds no hatred for you, and she doesn't care that you are now my son. Hell, the shy one even declared her love for you in front of that retrieval team. So I say that the Hyuga would make a fine mate for you, said Kyubi, chuckling at his son's blush at calling Hinata his mate. I never said that Hinata would be my mate, but now that you brought it up, if I did, take her as my mate, how would that even work? Since I'm your son, doesn't that make me longer lasting in terms of a lifespan? Thought Naruto, frowning a little at his father mentally while nearly done the hand signs. So young and so naive you are about life, with the threat of father time looming in the shadows, threatening to take it away. There are ways around this dilemma if you do choose the shy Hyuga as your mate once you literally mate with her. Every time we male demons decide to mate with a female human, we mark our mates by biting their neck with our teeth. Once our fangs penetrate the skin, they slowly releases demonized energy into her system that will change the physical make-up of her body to that of a demon as well. This also happens in order for the female to handle the power of the child that is growing inside of her. So, when the child or children born will not kill the mother during pregnancy, said Kyubi, smiling at his son's fish-like expression. As educational as that bit of information was, I did not expect you to go into exact detail in terms of mating, thought Naruto, though he imagined what Hinata would look like as a fox demon. And when he did, he felt blood running out of his nose. That's my boy, said Kyubi, chuckling at his son's eyes, having that glazed-over look from seeing the image, and knew this girl was the one for him. It's time. Demonic art. Demon World Portal Jutsu. said Naruto, his hands glowing red before thrusting them forward and creating a circle that would be the portal to take him to Demon World. Naruto-kun, please wait, yelled Hinata, calling out to him, having awakened from her faint spell before searching for him with her Byakugan, finding him on the bridge ready to enter another world and temporarily away from her life. Hinata-chan, said Naruto, surprised that she found him so fast, and wondered where her team was and if she was being used as a distraction. I just wanted to return the kiss you gave me, said Hinata, and kissed Naruto right on the lips, showing him even further that what she said was true. I like this girl already. What a fox she will make for my son. A graceful queen for my son and future king of demons, said Kyuubi to himself, knowing that if this played out as he hoped it would, then the fox would one day become a grandfather. That's some return, Hinata-chan. Wow, said Naruto, now grinning a large fox-like grin at Hinata, who simply blushed a new shade of red. Don't forget about me, okay, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, knowing she should have more faith in her love than to remind him already of her, when he hasn't even left her sight or plane of existence yet. I'll never forget you, Hinata-chan, my lavender foxheim, said Naruto, seeing the girl blush. Even further, though, why he said those things he didn't understand, but suspected it was his demon blood influencing him in that regard. With that, Naruto entered the portal, leaving Hinata and all he knew behind, never to see them again for the next 3 years. Hinata put her hands to her chest and knew that one day he would return to her, and when he did, she would show just how strong she had become. She was so deep in her little world that Hinata failed to notice her team was behind her a few feet and had seen a brief moment of the kiss she gave to the demon prince. No dango tonight for me. Thought Anko was wondering how she was going to explain this to the Hokage. Demon vot kubiestin. Naruto looked around at his surrounding and saw that the sky was reddish-purple with white clouds. The trees looked like though some looked a little unhealthy, and the cave behind him was huge in itself. It was bigger than his father's cell in his mind, and that was big enough to create an eyesore in seeing it too many times in his mind. It was an even bigger pain seeing the Kyuubi behind it, as Naruto wanted his father free from the prison, but couldn't, since its such attempts of freedom would kill both father and son. Has anyone been here since you've been in me? Thought Naruto, walking towards the den, only to feel a powerful barrier pushing him back slowly. No. What you felt just now was my demonic barrier I set up when I'm away from my cave, which I fortunately was at the time before I attacked Konoha. Since you are now my son, it won't hurt you, but anyone else, and it would have turned them into liquid goo. Yummy goodness, said Kyuubi, laughing at the thought as Naruto made a yuck face, thinking it was more along the lines of nasty than yummy. So you finally made it here. I was beginning to think someone had killed you before you arrived, said someone behind Naruto, who turned to see draconic-like man with black and spiky hair with a white patch in the middle. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto, noticed, looking the man right in the eyes, which he noticed were red, but with a smooth naturalness to them. He wore black baggy pants, blue ninja top, and black cloak with the kanji for devil on the back with the kanji in a circle of red flames. He had black boots, wrist as well as his ankles, and chakra weights were black with a strange blue trim on one side of the tips. My apologize, Naruto-sama. My name is Shiro Yamato, and I am known here in Demon World as the Shadow Knight, said Shiro, giving a curt bow. How you know about me? Said Naruto, getting into a defensive stance while Shiro just remained standing. Your father, Kyuubi, sent a demon fox summons to me to have me await for your arrival here in Demon World after all that has happened to you in Konoha. As for my connection with Kyuubi, it was through my father, who was a good friend of your fox father and a powerful demon dragon named Ryan. According to the message I received from Kyuubi, he wishes that such friendship between two great demons be passed down to us, and as their children show that their blood lives in us, said Shiro, walking towards Naruto, who lowered his guard somewhat and finally seized the various draconian features he possessed, but saw that he was strangely still half human. The boy will help you get stronger here in this world when you aren't learning it from me or what I have in my den. Also, I can see you are wondering about him being a half demon, so I'll tell you why. Unlike with most demons, dragons as well as a few other demons can't release demon chakra from their fangs, and thus when mating with a human female, simply get a half-demon child like Shiro. My guess is that his mother died bringing him into this world, as all human females do when brining a child into the world, said Kyuubi, glad to see the son of his old friend wanted to continue the pact of friendship. Thanks for doing this, Shiro, and I know you could have turned it down, so I can say that you have earned my respect, said Naruto, walking up to half-demon and shook his hand. I like you already too. You're not arrogant because of your new status as the Kyuubi's father, and I can see you want to work hard for your strength from the feel of your skin. Your hand may heal from wounds, but the scales and inner workings of my nerves tell me that you've had your fair share of working your hands to the bone. Very few people these days work that hard to get what they want since they have it handed to them like they were special, said Shiro, seeing Naruto's slightly surprised face at this little tidbit of info. You have to forgive me, since I never suspected you traveled from Demon World and back, said Naruto, looking at the half-dragon, half-man carefully, in case the boy tried to retaliate physically. To Naruto's surprise, Shiro simply let out a hearty laugh. Believe it or not, I've been to the human world before, and I've seen the arrogance those humans have for the power they think they can understand. They simply take power from others rather than earning it with the blood, sweat, and tears others shed to gain it in order to grow stronger. Because of that, they use that stolen power to make everything that they touch become nothingness, and quite frankly, I myself couldn't stand it anymore. So I went to Demon World to further embrace my own heritage. I'm just glad my father fell in love with a human that had a good heart, an open mind about people, whatever the race or species they may be, said Shiro, as he was now grinning a dragon smile with the scales around his chin rippling a little as he did. Well, since you're here, you want to get started? Said Naruto, knowing they could begin training right away. Sure, why not? I've been waiting here a while, so I could use a good workout to awaken these stiff dragon muscles of mine, said Shiro, laughing slightly, since the muscles in his body ever hardly became stiff. If you don't count the thing between his legs when he sees a hot naked woman. Before you start your training, son, I thought you should know that inside your new home is a sword of mine that has been passed down from one fox demon to another. It is your birthright to wield it as my heir to my throne. Also, I want to take your existing shinobi attire and make slight modifications to it so everyone here and in human world, when you return in 3 years, knows just whose son you are, said Kyuubi, smiling, as he had the perfect ideas to add to his son's combat attire to further strengthen him. This day just keeps on getting even better, thought Naruto, as he got into a fighting stance while Shiro got into his, and the two went at it. Konoha Hokage Tower, 3 days later. So the mission was a failure yet again, said Tsunade, getting a confirmed nod from Anko and Guy while their two Jinin left the room. Yeah, Naruto was really pissed that you wanted him to come back to Konoha, knowing what awaited him here. Even with whatever you had planned, he basically figured it out and wanted nothing to do with any of us. Or at least, most of us anyway, said Anko, knowing that there was one person that Naruto would return for, if only to take her with him. It was so unyouthful. Naruto was standing over 2 graves, and when we confronted him, he mocked us so harshly, said Guy, crying anime tears, making the 2 women sweat drop, and they suspected that if Rock Lee were in the room, the 2 weirdos would probably be involved in a long hugging scene right about now. How they hated that. He was obviously paying his respects to the 2 shinobi there. I've read that report done by Kakashi concerning those 2 in question, and I think Naruto could relate to the 2 easily. What else happened? Said Tsunade, looking at the 2, sensing something else had happened in Wave Country. Other than the fact that the people there looked at us like they wanted to get the team up like fish. Not much, said Anko, hoping the Hokage wouldn't suspect anything and let them go. Well, if that's everything, then you are, said Tsunade, but was interrupted by several of the council members came in the room, not looking pleased. We have to have a little talk with you, Hokage-sama, said Danzo, not looking pleased, as he held a sheet of paper in his hands with a scowl on his face, meaning he didn't like what he was reading. I'm in the middle of a mission report with several of my shinobi, Danzo, and council, so you will just have to wait your turn like everyone else does, said Tsunade, smirking at them, since they clearly didn't like being treated like everyone else, as they believed that they were above everyone else, including her. I guess we have to stay here for a few more minutes, right? Said Anko, wishing she was torturing someone right now. Yes, I know why the council is in an uproar. They tried to use their power to take claim over the Namake's household to get access to the estate and all that it holds within it due to it being under a lockdown jutsu. Only someone who is a blood relative or descendant of the Namake's line, to be more precise, can unlock it and claim the spoils the Yondaime had placed in there. So in a move that surprised even me, I put the home, the deed, and all that is the Namake's line under Naruto's name. This way the council couldn't try to take it under the law that all heirless clan homes become state property and then placed under the care of the government officials, said Tsunade, knowing that Danzo wanted what was inside the home, so he could gain more power to throw her out of power. Yash! Your flames of youth shine brightly, Hokage-sama, and when Naruto returns, he'll not only gain a passionate girlfriend in Hinata, but his inheritance too, said Guy, making Anko slap her head at the Jounin's words. Damn it, Guy, thought Anko, knowing that now she had to tell Tsunade or risk a pay cut this month. What? Did you just say gain a passionate girlfriend in Hinata? Spill, said Tsunade before scowling at the two shinobi in front of her. Okay, Hokage-sama, this is the unedited version, but it's also the unofficial version, so what we told you originally has to stay as it was stated, said Anko, knowing that the less people who knew about this, the better. What happened? Said Tsunade, her patience getting thinner and her body aging a little bit faster than she would have hoped. In a nutshell, Hinata was the cause of the mission failing, said Anko, as she and Guy told Tsunade all about the whole event that happened at the two graves. The kiss Naruto gave Hinata on her forehead, her fainting, their brief reunion on the bridge, and finally the kiss Hinata gave Naruto at the last moment before leaving the human world for an unknown amount of time. So the little moron finally saw it, huh? Well, I guess I'm not surprised since the treatment from the village didn't help much, so it's not all his fault. Now get out of here before the council comes barging in again. But while you're out, I need you two to find Jiraiya, so he and I can talk more about this, said Tsunade, letting out a tired sigh, before looking at the pictures of the previous Hokages on the wall, behind her, wondering what they thought of Konoha right now. Konoha Hospital. Niji awoke to see his cousin Hinata there, to see him now awaken, and was happy to see him now fully conscious after all that happened to him during the failed retrieval mission for Uchiha Sasuke. Originally, he didn't know the mission was a failure, since he had been unconscious the whole time, and no one told him yet about the results of it all. However, deep in Niji's heart, he felt something had happened, and knew that whatever it may be was for the worst. Hinata-sama, I'm glad you came to visit me, said Niji, smiling at his cousin, and wishing he had not been such an ass to her early on in life. You're welcome, Niji and I-san. I hope you recover fast, as I want your help in my own style of gentle fist, said Hinata without stuttering, making Niji's eyebrow go up at her sudden act of confidence and determination. Hinata-sama, forgive me for asking, but did you by some chance have some kind of interaction with Uzumaki Naruto? Said Niji, hoping that if such a thing was the case, it better not have been anything perverted. Judging by the signs of Hinata blushing and trying to force it down meant the two's little interaction wasn't perverted. But the Hyuga prodigy didn't want to be an uncle just yet. Correct, Niji, but it happened at a really bad time, said Hinata, who kept down her blush down since it was so important that she tell Niji what happened to Naruto. Aloud, what? Soon echoed throughout Konoha, nearly scaring some people right out of their clothes. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed exploring this what if with me. If you did, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Your support truly makes a difference, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Until next time, take care and stay tuned for more.